They say what goes up comes down, right? So we're coming to the end of our day, and I'm really sad and excited at the same time.
So today was the last day. I'm feeling a bit sad because I just gotten into like the speed of everything. And I just started to like fully enjoy it, and now I have to go back tonight.
So knowing I had literally about 12 hours, I made sure that I show Anthony everything I can. We had to begin with church. So for me, I wanted to really show him, what is worship like? What is church like to an African point of view? That was really neat that we went to church for him to really get to see what I grew up doing, what my family does, but also to show the difference of how things are done in America and how things are done in Africa.
The church is so different from America. They're not afraid to be loud. It was an amazing, beautiful service. The music was amazing. They had a choir in the back, jumping around, waving their hands, and just singing with their heart. And it was amazing to see that they put everything they had into worshiping God.
Tourists, we like to shop. Every time we go to every country, we want to buy something. And I knew Anthony wanted to buy something African, but I wanted to show him things that we make. I think living in the United States, it's easy to show that all things come from China, all things are made in the US. Like I wanted to show him there are really awesome things that are tradition, but are made by my people, and an African market was the perfect place to take him. So there was really a joy to, let him kind of walk through and buy things that he really liked.
My dad's like, fair warning, they're gonna try to sell it for more than what it's worth. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. It's okay, I'll talk it down. So I walk in and the first stall immediately catches my eye. I see all these kinds of bracelets, little charms on the bags. There was some little drums that I got to play. That was pretty cool. They had bow and arrows, like actual handmade bow and arrows. And I pulled it, and I'm used to the compact bows that we have in America, where it has the pulley system to make it easier to draw. So I was pulling it, and I was scared that it was gonna break. And the salesperson she was like, it's not gonna break, you're fine. And so I managed to get it to semi-full draw, but that was still really fun. I've dealt with bow and arrows before, and so it was nice to get to have one of those again. And we walked around, and there were so many shops, and everybody were like, hello, my brother, come in, looking is free. And it was amazing. All the different cultures poured into one. So many paintings, crafts, shirts, hats, everything. I loved it all, and I couldn't wait to just keep exploring. And so I was walking around, and I had to tell them, oh, I'll be back, I'll come back. And I did come back to some of them. And so I managed to come back to a couple. There was a globe that I wanted. It was like a decent weight, more or less about like a baseball, maybe a little more. Decent weight to it, had a stand on it, and that was pretty cool. Handcrafted, it was beautiful. I bought a white African shirt with black and gold trim design, and I tried that on, and it was super comfortable and super breathable, and so I bought that almost immediately. And then I also got this bracelet that says, I heart Africa. It was super cool. I love the design on it, and it was actually it's really comfortable, and I'm very happy with my purchases. Those were the things that caught my eye the most. They also had chess, but unfortunately I don't know if I would have been able to bring it on the plane, so I'd leave that behind. But whenever I do come back, I'm gonna make sure that I have a big enough suitcase to take more things back with me.
I think he's good at bargaining than I am. It was really fun to watch him bargain with people. Like, well, I can give you this much, but also the things he likes. So for me, that was really a day to show him what African market looks like. Remember, I grew up as a street kid, so I wanted him to see what life was for me as a street kid. Things I ate, where did I hang out? There was no any other way I can show him. But by joining and letting him experience and meet kids who are like him, who have no hope, who have no place to be, sometimes they are really in places where it's dangerous, drugs, verbal abuse, and all domestic that happens, and to see these kids really thrive. So I knew the best way I can do so is taking them to see, because they know my story, they know where dad came from, they know the difficult he had, but that was, they just only had for me. For him, I wanted him to experience
these kids, they don't have what we have. They are happy, and they love dance. These babies dancing as a form of communication, they talk to each other. And so I kind of believe that's what they're doing with this. They're dancing, they communicate that how much, man, they were happy, They had so many smiles, and it was amazing to see. And I learned some new dance moves as well. So I love dancing. It's an amazing thing, feeling the beat, the rhythm, and everything. And it's kind of getting into the groove of it. I watched that first, and I was like, okay, he's doing this, he's doing that. And then after that, I got in the back, and he walked us through some different moves. So I was able to pick up some different moves. My dad was like, okay, are you ready to go? And I'm like, have to, I want to stay, it's fun. It was amazing to be there, and I can't imagine how much joy they feel in that moment.
It's neat to see us join and see Anthony really say, sure, I'm going to dance with these African London moves. Which for me was clear joy, something that brought me to tears to know that I was like those kids many years ago. But through the kindness of one stranger, it changed my life to see how far. And I wanted him maybe one day to be the one to change lives, to go back to the United States. Maybe go to school or say, I want to raise money so I can help kids. Because now, not only do I hear the story from my dad, but now I go to see it. But I go to see the kids who grew up like my dad. That I go to see the kids that have no hope. That I go to see the kids that have joy and fun, but yet have so little or no care, but are joyful and happy. That maybe he can learn something.
And after all the dancing was over and we were heading out, I was still hanging out with them, and I was trying to see what different moves they could do, and I was just playing around with them, and it was amazing to be in the moment.
Back in the United States, we have grocery stores, He goes to buy pineapples, but I'm not sure he knows where they come from, So we had to go to an African market. I wanted to show him where I used to steal. That was the place I would steal food, while helping. So I wanted him to really see what it looks like. How do they put the stalls? Where do they put the bananas? What are African fruits? What does it take place in a marketplace? And that was for me an opportunity to take him to a typical African market where we get grocery stores, where we get groceries, we get fruits, we get anything that we needed.
It was interesting to see. It was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. So we first saw the charcoal, what they use for burning wood, cooking food, everything. So we saw that, saw how they made it and who carried it. That was pretty fun. And then we went to the fruit section where it was mainly watermelons and pineapples this time around. So I'm thinking that's just what was able to grow the best. So there was a decent bit. We saw really good looking tomatoes, honestly, some of the best. They got avocados, and it was amazing to see all these different people just kind of being there and just selling fruit. It was a lot of lights, honestly, but that's kind of understandable. It's just open fruit out. So that was still pretty cool. Huge market. We ended up going in the back to buy some sort of root type thing. I don't know what the name of it was, but it was so cool just looking around and being dang, this is where they get their fresh fruits and everything from.
And for him to see it and buy something, that for me meant so much. That will change his life. That every time he goes back home and sees how much we have there, that maybe he can pause and say, you know what? There's some people in the world that don't have as much as we have. That maybe that will teach him to be grateful, to be thankful, at the same time to be content as well, because he has more than most people do. To go back and reflect. Wait a minute, I can have any food I want, but these people don't have the same, but they are full of joy. That when I say there's some things that are cultural that sometimes he does not understand, I don't like them throwing food. For me, you rather put small food on your plate and finish it than put so much and throw it away, But I think for the first time now he understands, wait a minute, I can see why Dad does not want us to waste food, because there's hardly any food, and I don't want to waste that. And for me, those are the lessons that I really wanted him to learn. Well, also in Africa, in the United States, most people have their own cars. My kids, they take a bus to go to school, but I drive them everywhere. There are trains, there are planes, there are city buses. Traveling is easy, But I wanted him to show what it is like in Uganda to travel. You know, we have what we call border. Do you know why we call them border? Because they used to travel from one border to the other. I can take you from one border to the other. That's why they're called border. But there are a lot of them, and they're dangerous. I can tell you. Most people have died from those go through cities and through cars in every shape you could imagine. So they are scary, you know. But I wanted him to experience that, to be able to get on it, and to be able to feel what it means for someone to make $1 by taking you anywhere.
And so it was really fun. And my dad's like, you can try it, just gotta go slow. Which, you know, I'll take what I can get. So I get on the back and, you know, I'm holding on. And then I realize these are some pretty bumpy roads. And so I'm kind of thinking, am I gonna fall off? Like, first moment, am I gonna fall off? And then he started going and I'm like, okay, this is actually really smooth, you know? And he's going, not slow, but not fast. He's going at a decent pace, and up to where the hair is like being blown away by the wind. And so I was able to enjoy that. And so we ride up to the first stoplight, and the street kids, they're running alongside. And that was super fun to watch, is like, they love it so much, and they were running, smiles on their faces still. And so we get to the light, and we turn around, and then it was just an amazing experience, you know? And so we park, and I'm like, that was amazing. That was one of the greatest moments of my life.
Oh, no, I've actually never been on a motorcycle. That was cool.
And I think that was a good experience for him to really go back home and say, wow, we have cars, but also people have found ways. They're genius finding ways how to travel by using what they have. They're being resourceful. But I promise you, I was scared. I was really scared to put him on that border. But I knew he'll be safe, you know, and have the experience of his lifetime. So that was really neat to watch. My dream was to bring my kids to Uganda. And for me, having the opportunity to bring Anthony, that was truly a joy, that he gets to experience the same things that I've shared with him many years. As a dad, proud. As a dad, absolutely joyful. As a dad also, just that I'm glad that I come from a different culture, that I can bring my kids to embrace my culture, you know? Yes, the Americans, they've never been to Uganda, but to say, you know, Dad comes from a different place, and we're gonna do whatever we can to learn his culture, participate, and embrace it.
The reason I came to Uganda, obviously my dad told me it's my uncle's wedding, you know? And I'm like, I want to be there, you know? I want to meet everybody. I want to meet my family, you know? But he also told me that we were doing a chosen event. Dude, you know, I want to help, you know? It's just something that I'd love to do with my life, and maybe get an actual job with World Vision. And so I'm like, you know, I want to help where I can, you know, get a head start. So that was my reason, was to come here, meet my family, and to help, and to explore the culture, you know, and everything has been above and beyond what I could have ever expected, you know. It's been such an amazing and eye-opening experience. You know, meeting my family, the joy that I felt, you know, finally meeting them for the first time, helping those kids. As an American white boy who grew up in the middle of nowhere in the country, you know, and then I moved to the city, coming to Uganda, it's been an experience of finding myself, finding out who I want to be, who I can be because of this experience. That has what Uganda has been like to me. It's a journey of self-exploration.
What do you think of the border?
I liked it, you know, it was really fun. The wind was like in my face, you know, I wanted to go fast.
No,
But he said,
no, no. Those border are dangerous.
I know.